Hi, welcome back to Garden on the Moors. Today we're going to plant our garlic and watch it grow throughout the year, ready for harvest. So this is where we're going to plant the garlics. All we've done is cleared the bed and put on some fresh garden compost. There's a lot of videos to tell you how to make good garden compost. The basics are that you just mix up equal, about 50-50, green and brown vegetative waste. So for example, for your greens, you want some weeds, grass clippings, kitchen garden waste from veg. And then for your browns, I just tend to use like letters and envelopes, that sort of thing, a bit of junk mail, and that sort of evens it out. And you just mix it once every month or two. And then eventually it will break down into lovely compost like this. This is going to carry on breaking down, but this is absolutely fine for what we need for the time being. We plant garlic in October, so that it gets a nice long winter, but before it does that, it will grow and put up a nice little shoot, and then it will sit like that from around sort of end of November, December time till spring, and it will get hit by the frost, and that hitting of the frost is what's going to split the bulb into different cloves that we're then going to use. So these are the garlics I'm going to plant today. These are from saved garlics. So these are what we grew this year and harvested in spring. And I don't even know how many generations these are. Maybe this is the fourth generation this is going to be, but we've just been growing them over and over again. So we haven't had to buy garlic for ages, which is brilliant. So all you need to do is split them like you would at home in the kitchen. So I'm just going to peel off the paper and gently pick off each clove like that, and then we're going to plant it right way up. So this is the root base at the bottom and this is the top. We're going to plant it that way up, and that will then become one of these, all being well. So we've got our garlic cloves ready to plant. I'm going to focus on growing the largest bulbs so that if I run out of room, then at least I've got my best ones already in there. And also prefer the ones that have a little bit of root on them because they'll be even stronger. So I've measured out my line next to our turnips. By the time these come out, there'll be peas here. So I want to make sure there's enough room for the peas to go in. But all I need to do is just get my garlic bulb and put it so it's just below the surface of the soil, just like that, upright, tuck it in, and that is pretty much it until we come to harvest it. So just need to make sure that they're about 15 centimetres apart, which is roughly the length of my dibber. So just dig another hole in there, tuck that one in, and carry on down the line. Right, that's one row done. I've got another variety as well to plant, so I'll go and do that. And yeah, we'll check back in a few months to see how they get on. So the garlics here have done amazingly well for their growing season, but I don't know about you, for us it's been quite a tricky year weather-wise for them. So they had quite a dry start to spring and a really damp end to spring, which is not ideal for them. They kind of would prefer it the other way around, I suppose. But that's fine. What it has meant is that a lot of them have tried to send up flowers, which we don't want, and now we're starting to see some rust. So this stuff here, this orange stuff on the leaf, is basically a bit of a fungal infection, just where the leaves are being a bit too damp and that sort of thing. It's not too bad at the minute. So, but what it does mean is that in the long run, they won't store as well. So obviously the idea is that we'll dig them up, dry them and store them to use them throughout the year, but the rust will mean that it's kind of harder to do that. So what we're going to do is dig them up today. I was hoping to leave them a bit longer, about a week or so longer, and wait for the leaves to brown up a bit more. But you can see that the colour is already starting to go from these leaves, especially when you compare them to our other garlics, which are still a lovely deep green colour. This variety here has started to go already, and now it's getting rust, so I'm going to dig these up today. These are the saved garlic seeds, saved garlic sets. So yeah, we'll see how they've done. Hopefully they'll be nice size. So what I'm going to do is put my fork in the ground next to where I think the bulb is and lift it and try and dig up the whole thing without breaking the stalk. Wow, that's a lovely big bulb. Just brush off some of this soil. Well, I'm happy with that. That's huge. What I'll do is clean off the rest of the compost and then put these in the greenhouse to dry, so that we can then save them. So hopefully what this means is that we will have sort of stopped the spread of the rust going to our other alliums, like our onions and the garlics that are down the road. And actually I'm really happy with these. They're huge. Probably the best garlics we've ever grown, actually. So what we need to do, before I say that actually, this is one of the benefits of growing from saved garlic cloves, is that you know that, so what you do is pick the biggest and keep them and plant them, so that way you know that those plants are happy with your conditions, they're happy with your climate and your ground and that sort of thing. And that's exactly why I think these are done so well, because they've got really good fresh soil, which they've loved, and also because they're saved, so they're as fresh as can be, and I know the environment in which their sort of parent plants or whatever originally had, which is, this garden. So I'm just going to brush off the garlics as best I can for now. The good thing is that the rust hasn't spread really at all. It was, I only just spotted some of that rust today, so that's the good thing about having it in our garden, is that I can just come up on my lunch break, or when I'm doing my morning rounds with a cup of tea, and I can keep an eye on things and I can spot things as soon as they happen, like that rust. So now that we've got this row empty of the garlic, I can go through and weed it again now that I've got a bit more room to get in there. And it also will hopefully mean that we've got more airflow. I think one of the reasons why we probably got the rust on that row is because of the peas, which are doing fantastically. You can hopefully see that they're full of flower. We've got the first few pods coming, but they will be giving off lots of moisture from their leaves, and they will be stopping the wind flow from their neighbours, which were these garlics. Which would help dry out the leaves of the plants normally. So we've got two options. I can either leave them outside to dry naturally out here for a little bit, which I may do, or I can put them in the greenhouse, which will then make them dry a bit quicker. So we'll have to think. I think what I'll do is check the weather forecast. And if it's not too wet, then I'll leave them outside, because ideally I'd like to get rid of as much of this mud as possible before bringing it into the greenhouse. It's been about a week since we harvested these garlics, and we've had a lovely run of hot, sunny, dry weather, a bit like today, and our garlic has dried up beautifully. So all of the green has gone from the leaves now, and they've gone brown, and which means that the goodness from the leaves has gone into these bulbs. All I need to do now is just tidy them up and get them ready for storing. There are a lot of people, much better than I, who would plat these. I'd love to be able to, but I absolutely cannot do it. I'm rubbish at it. So what I'll do is just tidy them up so that they can store quite nicely, and also we can give them away a lot easier. So all I need to do is get my first one. I'm just going to top and tail them straight into our compost bin. So all that needs is the top cut off, about there. The roots cut. Not too, you don't want to completely get rid of the roots, because that can, you don't want to damage the root plate basically. And then I just brush off this soil. And then peel away some of this outer paper. It should come away nice and easily, and then give us this gorgeous garlic bulb. Now, because they're not completely bone dry, what I'll do is store them sitting up so that any remaining moisture can get out through the wound I've just made there. But that I'm very happy with. There we are. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give a big thumbs up and subscribe for more, and we'll see you again next time. Cheers. Baby.